Kusanza kubumbana insimbi yesithupha ngetinsuku tingamashumi lamabili inyanga yesibili kulo mnyaka losedulu umnyaka wa 2024. It's the second day of the week, Lungelele, and we feel really blessed to be joined by you yet again and join you on Kusile Breakfast Show. Nalomuhla ekseni siyakuvusela futhi siyakwamukela ehlelweni. Ngikuvusele nawe Mphambeni, how are you?
Nguni, how are you this morning?
Feeling blessed.
Yeah, feeling blessed to spend the month of love. We're on the 20th day, or on the 20th day of February. Sisamo sindivakashela namhla ekseni saba ukuthi nikhethe kuvuka nathi kuningi sabe sikudeka lo muhla ekseni sabe sinaye business development officer walapha ekhaya Eswatini TV Lindiwe Mathenja umsakazo Eswatini TV tabona unemsebenzi lomkhulu kusasa njengoba utabe ulontsha ema programs lamasha officially emsebenzini lesisabe sikuchuba khona lapha eZulwini sabe sikhulumisana naye Lindiwe Mathenja ukuva kabandi ukuthi ingabe ngimaphi ama programs umcwanga nani ilona msebenzi, so do stay with us. Sabe sinaye nga 6:30.
Yeah, and speaking on imisebenzi emikhulu enteka kuleli viki, it's a big week. It's a big week lapha ekhaya kaNgwane njengoba ke sigathe yona indvuna yetemafa umhlonishwa Reichenbach kuthi yethule emaphakelo ngalesihlanu. It's a big week because makata utfula budget speech, a lot happens even in our stock markets, in our financial markets. There's a lot of excitement, in that. A lot of business people are looking for investments. Iparlamente shumi nakubili nanayo ibukeka lapho ekuthenini kusetha usuku emagonso lathi ngikwesenjadwe inhlelo leti tawufula umnotho welive engabe batawubaphakela kangakanani. We want to talk to our in-house senior journalist LinkedIn Kule ke uqhuba luhlelo lolithiwa yi-asakhe kwethu la khona ahlala phansi nato tindvuna tembuso kubuka nje inhlelo tabo labanato under their portfolios ekuthuthukisa ke live la kaNgwane. So we do want to have a conversation in anticipation of the budget speech letawuba khona ngalesihlanu ekuthenini aseta emaphakelo live la kaNgwane kufuna libe excited kangakanani, and particularly what are some of the key areas or priority sectors lekufuna ukuthi abukwe kudeke kutawufukulwa wona umnotho welive la kaNgwane. Siyathi ukuthi indvuna yetemafa Reichenbach ivetile esukwini la itolo ekuthenini i-health ne-education tetempilo netemfundo njengenjwayelo titawuphakelwa kakhudlwana cishe lokho sikudayela, and the justifications around that are known, but also other key growth sectors that have been identified in developing live la kaNgwane lafa ekhatsi temcebo waphansi neletekulima litiko. So we do want to look at some of those programs under these different portfolios and how they can be maximized after sekaphakeliwe. LinkedIn Kule joins us at 7:30 to further this discussion. Sitawufuna nyalo kubuka hloko lethamba embili amaphephandzabeni elive lomuhla kunglesibili ekuseni.
Asicela sibuke i-Times of Eswatini leti hamba imbili lomuhla. 26 aggrieved aspiring firefighters bathi hire us or restart recruitment. Some aspiring recruits camp at ENFRES headquarters and they demand to see chief fire officer. Kulanyele hamba imbili blacklisting for failure to collect travel documents and IDs. Kuletinyile hamba imbili 170,000 malengeni withdrawn. NAPSAW suspends 3 executive members, and Form 5 results ayaphuma lamuhla. Kulenyele hamba imbili Kauzela still fugitive, UK status is an advantage, bekusho kwa government spokesperson.
The leading headline on the Times of Eswatini sports section: following the Nhlangano commotion, Babane Swallows and Nsingizini Hotspurs face over 500,000 emalangeni fine. The two renowned sides are in trouble over a skirmish that erupted in league encounter this past weekend. That's a lot of money. No bye for lowly ranked Sihlangu in the AFCON 2025 draw, with the 34th edition of the Total Energies Confederation of African Football Africa Cup of Nations done and dusted. All eyes are now on the upcoming edition. Another story, Gwake, Mishek, smoke peace pipe following the eventful Sunday that saw Mbabane Swallows Gwake Twala in Singizini Hotspurs Mishek Lushaba engage in a heated altercation. The pair has extended apologies to each other, which is good. Glasner in, Hodgson out at Crystal Palace. Those are the leading headlines, Times of Eswatini this morning.
As for Eswatini Observer, Bennett spills bins on 2 estates. He points accusing finger at corrupt lawyers, auditors, and says there are syndicates everywhere in this country. Kulanyele hamba imbili, King's birthday celebrations go to Mangayane, and Form 5 results are out today.
Kutemidlalo ke Eswatini Observer kungolesibili ekuseni. The leading story after Sunday's mayhem, players say we are embarrassed. Ngumishek Geloyo Nagwake, who have apologized for Sunday's scuffle, and both players have picked lessons from situation, and that's according to them. The team's PROs also issue their apologies to the football fraternity as well as the whole nation. Sihlangu for Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers preliminary round for the upteenth time. Eswatini will kick off the 2025 AFCON qualification quest in the preliminary round with 7 other nations that have been seeded into 2 pots of 4 teams each. Yeah, those are the 2 leading headlines this morning.
All right, Nasbuga Eswatini Daily News, Iletamba Mbili, there's a syndicate, Judicial Commission of Inquiry told there's a syndicate illegally selling Emaswati's properties. Kulanyele hamba Mbili, King calls for strong decisions to advance AFCFTA, and school reports transformation after World Vision Courier's 1 million Malangeni intervention.
It is a tricky draw for Sihlangu in Africa Cup of Nations 2025 qualifiers. Making the leading story there, Sihlangu Semnigati is in the 8 lowest ranked teams and placed in pot number 2, likely to face either Somalia, Djibouti, Sao Tome or Chad in Morocco in the 2025 AFCON preliminary round qualifiers that have been set to be staged between March 18 to the 26th of March 2024. Mbabane Swallows and Singizini in hot soup following Sunday's scuffle and Hlangano. Manchester City not feeling any extra pressure, and that's following their 1-1 draw with London Blues Chelsea this past weekend. Sitawahlola market masinyane njengoba sesiwabukile ke leading headlines this morning. Sitabuya sibuke indaba lapha ekhaya eSwati.
Residents of Simunye and surrounding areas are notified that intense TV license door-to-door inspections are being conducted in the region. The exercise starts on the 19th to the 28th of February 2024. Stay alert. Our TV license inspectors will be wearing Eswatini TV gear and will have tags that confirm their identity. Don't be scammed. Our inspectors do not ask for cash payments. Pay your TV license only at specified pay points or call us on 34050163 or 78024545 for more information. Alternatively, you can send a WhatsApp message to 76222000 and we'll chat with you. Pay your TV license today, enhance the industry.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokho
Sifile sive sithi khulumeni.
kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba-researche, bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sente ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
Mizuzu lelishumi nakunye kubumbene insimbi yesithupha sitawethabelati indzabate siswati. Sigaba sekucala semkhosi webuganu sephethe ngelisasasa lelisetulu ngelisondvo ngesikhathi libutfo laphezu komkhono livalelisa ingwenyama nendlovukazi umhlekazi esigodlweni ebuhleni. Ngantsi-ke lokhu kulandzela ukuthi umhlaba uphelele khona esigodlweni ebuhleni kuwo lo mkhosi webuganu. Luthango livalelise emakhosi ngebugabazi lobusetulu.
Umsebenzi wekuvalelisa kwelibutho lelithango ngelisondvo entsambama uqale ngekuthi libutho liholwe mbomake emakhosikazi engwenyama ekuhlehleni phambi kwemakhosi. Ukugidveta ingoma temiso lekube bogcamu wabekwa inkomo zabantu live liyafanana kwase sekugidvwa nanjiloni. Umsebenzi uhambe wenabela ekuthambeni lenakhona kubonakala ukuthi libutho beseloku lihamba ngemigcumo wangemgcibelo. Inkundla ithokomaliswe ngamacanza engwenyama lekube ngumfana enkosi itiyanza nemfana enkosi itemaswati.
Ogeli vose msagame ogeli vose ngwenyama ogeli vose ngwenyama bakuba ngetinzi ngomsakanda baba yakwanekela usengwenyama lingelakho lelive
Uzaqhubeka umsebenzi kuthambeni emalangeni bantu abenkosi labadzala. Inkosikati yemfana enkosi majaha inkosikati lakhumalo ithambe ngesizotha. Inkundla ke iphindze yathokomaliswa ngumake Lashongwe. Seliqhubeka luhla kuthambe balukatana kwathamba ludzidzi nendvuna yelithango esifundza sakaHhohho kanjalo ke nelithango lwemibutho yelive yomithathu nebeticishamlilo. Sive ke sesivele sibuke ngemehlo labukhali kubusisa kwelanga lekugidwa kwesigaba sesibili sawo umkhosi webuganu esigodlweni yehlane. Nobika kwethu indzabeni ngisandile Makhanya esigodlweni yebuhleli.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankulu welive Russell Miso Dlamini sewubuyile ke lapha ekhaya kulandzela ukuthi abemelele isilo semhlaba emhlanganweni webunye bemava se-Afrika e-Addis Ababa e-Ethiopia.
Sibese singena emhlanganweni wokuqala webaholi. Umhlangano wokuqala kube ngumhlangano lo closed lokusho ukuthi bekungangeni noma ngangibani bemaphephandzaba bemedia bebangangeni kuwo ngendzaba yokuthi inhlangano yebunye ba-Afrika ikubeka imbili bunye nekuthula so kunetindvo nje letifanele ukuthi tikhulunywe egumeni so ke takhulunywa ke leto tindvo letimqoka egumeni letiphatselene nabo baholi nekusebenta nendlela yekusebenta kwe-African Union. Kubeke itheme yalomhlangano beyigcile kakhulu kuto temfundo kwekuthi iAfrika kufanele kwekuthi iphakamise ihambise embili temfundo letitawukhona kwekuthi tende live le-Afrika livekati le-Afrika liphumelele kusasa kuliqiniso ukuthi kunema opportunities lamakhulu elikusasa le livekati le-Afrika kepha ke i-education kubone imfundo kubonakala ukuthi kufuna iqiniswe ukuze ukuthi ikhona ukuproduce abantu labasha netisebenzi letawukhona kwekuthi tilungele ema-challenges akusasa. Sikhulumile ke nangato kuguquguquka kwelitulu lapho khona sikhonile kuthula inkulumo yelive yokuthi emave akabambisane asebenzisane ngokuthi anqiphise lokubulala ludwadwasi kodwa nokuthi abambisane kuzokuthi technology athole technology le clean nokuthi sihlala sicezelela njalo ukuthi ema resources lesinawo kube khona ibalance yokuthi njengase nje venangwane sinayo icoal kungiyo imineral lenyenti kakhulu ukuthi ngeke phela bese sesiyayilahla funa sichubeke izuze kuyo.
Umkhosi wekugubha usuku lwekutalwa lwenkosi Mswati wesithathu utawubanjelwa eMankayane lonyaka mhla 14 enyangeni yaMabasa. Lokhu ke kumenyetelwe indvuna yelitiko letasekhaya umhlonishwa uMvaninkosi Lindiwe nayetfulela abantu babenkosi kanye nabo babetikhulu besifundza sakaManzini ngalomsebenzi emhlanganweni lobe ubanjelwe emahhovisini emphathi sifundza kaManzini.
Ngibe seyibusisile ukuthi mhla ka-19 April lusuku lwenkosi shokuthi ngesiswati nathi 14 kuye Mabasa lusuku lwenkosi liyachubeka bekunene eMankayane lapho ingonyama itabe ikhona khona sesitobikela ke bana benkosi nabo babetikhulu njengoba kasati ke bonkosi kwekuthi wabetikhulu ngabo babe benkosi bavele ngabo labavele baphethe lo msebenzi ke njengoba umsebenzi kaManzini lemigido letabi ikhona itabi iholwa nguye Manzini sitabe sivukene libutho lakaManzini elithango lakaManzini tintombi takhona ukuthi vele tabe tihambe embili kulo msebenzi lokho kusho ukuthi sekusetikweni abantu abenkosi kuba betikhulu bakamanzini ukuthi sive ngani ukuthi sekulapha ayethe wena waphakathi.
Umntwana ngoSigija longumphathi esifundza sakamanzini uthi isifundza siwebungela ngetandla totimbili lomsebenzi.
Sisive sakamanzini sisetawubitana sikhumbutane ngekuhlonipha kwamaswati siphindze sikhumbutane nakuthi emaswati kojana abantu labanjani sikhombise lokuhle kwamaswati lokusuka la kamanzini sito practice netingoma sibhaca sitabe shaya ngithi sibhaca nathi nje neloffice la ka RA lapha sitabe sigijima embili esibhaceni kukhomba injabulo ukuthi ingosi italwa kamanzini semukela lo msebenzi njoba induna sewubikile.
Lo bongele abantu abenkosi netikhulu tasesifundzeni sakamanzini kube ngubaba esikhulu ngalongulu kanti lidolobha laseMankayane lagcina kubamba lo msebenzi wekuhalalisela kutalwa kwengwenyama ngeminyaka wa 2018 ngesikhathi live ligubha umkhosi wa 50-50 njengoba sive sasibuthene ndzawonye tigodzini letehlukene kuleli kute uhalalisa. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV ngumbongo Dube nasindiswa Zwane kamanzini.
Indvuna yetemafa Neil Reichenberg ithi emaphakelo alonyaka atawubuka kakhulu ukuthuthukisa umnotfo, temphilo, temfundvo kanye nekwakha ematfuba emisebenzi kulokunye.
We're going to be really making sure that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health take a priority in the budget, as has been asked for by Sibaya, and even the questions and the response we've been getting on the social media platforms we've opened up for people to comment on. Those are two areas that will be getting a lot of focus. But at the same time, we are also analysing all the Sibaya submissions and to see what we can do within the different ministries, the Ministry of Youth, and so we're trying to see what we can fit in there. But there's a very strong drive for growth, and so we are really trying to make sure that whatever we do, we're taking growth very seriously. We do believe that our main problems are poverty and unemployment, and what will take us out of that is growth. Growth supplies not only more jobs, but better quality jobs, and more jobs and better quality jobs sorts out the poverty problem. So we really are focusing quite heavily on growth and to see what we can do in that space to try and grow the economy. Agriculture has always been getting a lion's share and a top priority within the budget to be able to try and do so. With us continuing with the Mkondo Ngwavuma projects, it's definitely continuing to get a decent share of the budget.
Mapalane wePhalamende Benedict Xaba uthi kubalulekile ukuthi isisekelo sekusebenta kwetishamthetho sibe ngujesu. Xaba uthi lokhu kwenta lokusebenta kube ngilokuhlobile nalokutawusita sive. Ukushito lokuke ngesikhathi iPhalamende ihlangene netinhlangothi letahlukene kutawubuka indzaba yenkolo yebuKrestu nemsebenzi ke wetishamthetho.
Mapalane wePhalamende Benedict Xaba uthi kulomhlangano bahlangene nabafundisi majaji kanye nalabanye labamcoka labaphathekako etindzabeni tetenkolo kanye netindzaba temtsetfo.
Usicubulo salomhlangano sibuke tindzaba tekubusa ngebunkulunkulu lesithi i-godly governance lesiyithola ke ukuthi mawubuka nje sisuke esibayeni sive sakhuluma kakhulu vele ngetindzaba letiningi tabo corruption nalokwenteka kakhulu eveni. So sibukile ke lokuthi mawungahlanganisa ema stakeholders latsite lamcoka eveni uphike nje bani lapha nalapha kungakhona ukuthi lo mlilo uhlanyeleke wale godly governance noma leyo good governance.
Lilunga lePhalamende laseveni lase-Switzerland Samuel Coleman leli lapha eveni nalo livetile ukuthi kubalulekile ukuthi sisekelo sawo konke kube nguNkulunkulu kanti futhi lasesele niketa ke nesexwayiso kiwo emalunga ePhalamende alapha eSwatini.
To be aware that whatever funds we have in the government and state, it's taxpayers' money. So, and they have been taken away from hardworking citizens first for the state to be able to spend, so we should use them with the utmost care.
Umfundisi John Sago uchaza ngebumcoka bekuthi sisekelo sawo konke kube uNkulunkulu.
God began to speak to me that it is necessary that the Eswatinians know that they have been praying, but this is the time that God is coming down into the nation and to bring a restoration in our medical institution, because he's raising a special medical institution for people that have a special need, so that people must stop going outside to seek for medical help, and people must stop dying unnecessarily.
Luhlelo lwesolicalwe yiPhalamende nayo iBible Society lubheke ukuthi luchubeke lufinyelele nakuletinye tinhlangothi kuze kuthi lakangwane lihambisane lonke ngamcondo munye. Tindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Themnkosi Mavimbela ngisembabane.
Live leSwatini kanye nelive leNdiya libambe umhlangano lohlose ukuthuthukisa ubudlelwano etinhlangothini letifaka ekhatsi temabhizinisi, tetemfundvo kanye netempilo kuletinye tinhlangothi. Lo mhlangano ungenelwe libandla lelibuya ehhovisini lalonxusele leNdiya leliholwa ngumhlonishwa Punet Kandal kanye nelibandla lelinxusele leSwatini eNdiya. Lo mhlangano ubanjelwe emahhovisini elitiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave eMbabane.
Litiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave ngemsombuluko lemukele libandla lelichamuka eveni leNdiya. Lelibandla liholwa ngumhlonishwa Punet Kandal lo nabomabhalane besifundza lesisempumalanga naleso lesisendasi neNdiya kanye nabomabhalane labancane baletifundza. Leli bandla liphindze libe nalabo labanxusele lehhovisi laseNdiya lapha eveni, kanti-ke kulabo sihlalo Sizwenjangase longumabhalane lomkhulu welitiko letangephandle nekudlelana namanye emave bekahamba nemhlonishwa Putel Kandal. Lonxusele live leSwatini eNdiya umhlonishwa Menzi Dlamini nanaye bekayingcenye yaleli bandla. Emalunga emabandla lachamuka-ke ematikweni lehlukene lafaka ekhatsi litiko letempilo, letekuchumana nalelo-ke lelibuke tekuphepha nawo bekakulomhlangano. Lamave lamabili akhulumisa-ke tindzaba tekutsengiselana, tematfuba ekuhlanyela timali, temfundvo, tesayensi, tebuchwephesha, tetempilo kanye naleto tekufundzela tebudlelwane nalamanye emave emhlaba. Lamave lamabili anebudlelwano lobuhle nalobukhonsile njengoba elive leNdiya lifundzisa bantfwana bemaswati labangetulu kwemakhulu lamabili eNdiya. Tindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni eMbabane.
Anze kutemidlalo enhlambi yalapha eSwatini lengu Lucas Fraser seyihlonyeliswe ngemali lebalelwa ku-11,000 emalangeni kulandzela kuhamba embili emidlalweni yakhe ekubhukusha eveni le-United Arab Emirates. Lenhlambi leneminyaka le-13 itfoleke timendlela letimbili lokuligolide nelitfusi emidlalweni ye-2024 Hamilton Aquatics Games.
Inhlambi yakuleli Lucas Fraser itholele imali letingulungwane letilishumi temalangeni 11,000 emalangeni kulandzela kuphakamisa umjeka welive kumcuselwano we-2024 Hamilton Aquatics Games lobanjelwe eDubai. Lo mcuselwano ucale mhla til-16 waphela-ke mhla til-18 kulesetulu. Lo mdlalo neminyaka le-13 budzala ucaleke ngekuthola i-bronze medal ngemgcibelo ngaphansi kwe-100 meters breaststroke, kanti-ke uthola imali lefikako etinkulungwaneni letintsatfu. Elangeni lelikhulu lalo mgcizelwano ngelisondo lo mdlali uthole imendlela yegolide ngesikhathi-ke ancoba i-50 meters breaststroke, kanti-ke uthola imali lelinganiselwa etinkulungwaneni letisiphohlongo temalangeni. Akhulumisana nelibandla lebetindzaba kulo msakade, Lucas Fraser uchazile ukuthi uthokote kakhulu ngendlela lasebente ngayo kulo mgcizelwano. Uthi-ke kukhulu lokuseta, uthembisa-ke eMaswati ukuthi utawuchubeka limelele kahle live. Umqeqeshi wakhe lophindza belisekela lemengameli lemidlalo wekubhukusha kuleli nanaye umhadalisele Fraser wathembisa ukuthi batawuchubeka abayinhlangano bamesekele asachubeka nemigcizelwano leminye letako. Inhlangano lebuka imidlalo ema-Olympics nemidlalo ema-Commonwealth kanye nenhlangano lengamele imidlalo eSwatini nanato timdumisele lo waka Fraser. Umbiko uhlanganiswe ngeLinkedIn kule na Fabrice Msonera Sembabane.
Yeah, what a phenomenal swimmer. It's 30 minutes after 6. We'll go for a net break. Sibuya-ke sixoxisana nabantu osixoxisa ngetinhlelo letinsha te-Eswatini TV ngandzawo.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Asimize sinimukele sakuvusela nawo lo sanza kusivulela bezivedile ukuthi sizabe sikhulumisana na Business Development Officer walapha ekhaya Eswatini TV. Umsakado-ke utawusukumisa ngalokusemthethweni ema-programs lamasha elangeni lakusasa. Sifuna ukuvaka abantu ukuthi ngimaphi lawa ama-programs nekuva nje ukuthi ngabe vele kubaluleke kangakanani ukuthi umsakado sikhicite i-fresh content. Sakuvusela Lindiwe. Thank you for joining us lo mhla. We are quite excited for lilanga lakusasa njengoba silauncha nje ema-programs lamasha. I think balekile Lindiwe lokuthi vele umbukeli simnikete i-fresh content ngalokuthi vele ukubhekile lokho because uyabhadalela le TV license kepha nje mhlambe kusiniketa nje isithombe ngalama programs ukuthi vele yini leta bayendeka kusasa ngimaphi ama programs nentawo etfula kusasa ezivele.
Usivuselelo losivukisele nembukeli lapho asibukela khona uthide ingwenyama speechini sayo lonke liswada lithi nkwe liqinisekise kusimama kwemnotho nayo indvuna ye-ICT igcizelela ku self sustainability kuma parastatals ayo lo kube inhlanhla ke nathi la ngekhathi kutfolakala ukuthi CEO wethu lomusha bekacetha nje ku developer strategy lesawuthi kumbe ngomkhombandlela wayo institution so ukuthi nathi ihambisana leti nkhulumo wana utibuka tine sync kwatfolakala ukuthi naye bekashido ukuthi give emaswati what they want lo kubeseke kukhulumisa ngco tinhlelo letinsha ukuthi ngabe vele lesivele kulisababuke sakona ngikweni labakufunako sibeseke sesihlala phansi njengoba umfulomdzala uthi wafika neliphupho lesingakase salibona kumbe Eswatini TV wa introduce i-programs committee lehlala njalo ibuketa ukuthi ngabe sise relevant yini nge-content yethu esiveni uthi teke nakathi give liswati lele likufunako sahlala phansi sa-analyze data yethu satfola lokuthi emaswati ayaticela tinhlelo leti family oriented ayathi icela tinhlelo letikhuluma ngcono ebhizinisi, ayathi icela futhi tinhlelo letikhulumisa i-CSR njengoba wathi sisebenza nema-corporates lafuna ku-aligna ema-brands awo ngco naloku lesikwenda la ngekhathi. So ngiko loku bese sekukhipha lo mphumela lo tawendeka kusasa walolu luhlelo lolumbukudvu lomusha kumbe wetinhlelo letisithi tfulako esiveni.
Mhlambe lo mnyanja ngabota le nto ukuthi are there any returning shows ngoba sakhuluma nje ukuthi kube kune series le yadlala ibed lapha ekhaya le betwa ngokuthi kusekhaya ngicabanga ukuthi leyo vele iyathandwa cishe ngonke umuntu bese ilandzelela tikhona leti inhlelo leto mhlambe lesingatigada ukuthi tiyabuya khona lapha emsakatweni.
Now since nje indzaba yasekhaya yafika yadlala ibed kakhulu eveni, it was a talk of the town. Umflo mdzala ke uthi cha titawubuya tonke lesithena si-analyze i-data yethu satfola ukuthi emaswati ayatidzinga lokufaka yena ekhaya. Siyajabula kakhulu kumbukeli kumatisa ukuthi ekhaya utawungena masinyane eti-screenini tethu.
Ukhulumele ukuthi kunetinhlelo mhlambe letitawubuka bobhizinisi letitawubuka bo-CSR naletinye tinhlangothi mhlambe kusithi nje fahla kancane ukuthi saticalile nivele kudlala imaphi amagama awo ama-programs lawo.
Kukhona nje lesetivele lesisemoyeni ngoba kusasa seyi-formality sesodetfula ngaso semthethweni esiveni, kepha letinye vele setikhona kubomabona kudze bethu babukele sebanako lokuthi hawu vele Eswatini TV seyishaya ngelunyawo lolusha. Simbonile e-business watch, sayibona i-market watch lekhulumisa ngco ibhizinisi le umbukeli noma leyo corporate lehlele ekhaya lefuna ku-aligna temabhizinisi nawo setiyakhona kungena kuleto tinhlelo lethu. Kunetinhlelo ke letikhulumisa i-CSR like i-Brains on the Go ike yaba khona itolo yaphindze yanyamalala ngoba phela kumcoka lothi sihle sibuyela ebhodweni lethu sibuye ukuthi ngabe vele lo hlelo basalifuna yini. Sike saluthi salithatha salikhefe kepha sathina sihleli lapha ku-Promise Committee kwabonakala ukuthi luhlelo lolu bayalifuna ngoba belibuka ku-capacitate abamfana labeswele etikolweni. Kuvele ama-sponsors ukuthi nawo umfana weswele kepha siyafuna ukumbona achubeka acedza sikolo abalutho kusasa. Tinhlelo letinjalo singatigada. Kunetinhlelo letisha letikhona like bo squad code sike sayizama nge-festive siyisenda i-trial kepha sibonile i-appetite kumbe kuma-viewers ukuthi cha lolu aluchubeke. Those are just highlight amongst many.
Ingabe mhlambe nanisahleli nje nisabuka le nto nje bosho ukuthi nihle nihlala nengumsakadwa nibuka ukuthi kumbe ngitiphi inhlelo lingadingeta kukhona mhlambe lokho lenikuthathisako esiveni ukuthi nabe nje kutaba nemuntu otathi mina ngicela mhlambe niboke nibukede kwenta nalihlelo nali loluthide ingabe niyakubuka yini lokho nokubuka nje ukuthi nyalo letinhlelo leninato batfokotela imvelo.
Nangingenisa inkulumo yami ngichazeka bantu ngathi sithi si-Promise Committee sahlala phasi sabuketa le data. Kuba khona leticelo letingena ngemafastelo ngoba beside a formal request yokucela ukuthi kumbe emaswati afuna nawo kepha informally tiyangena leticelo ukuthi uyate emaswati afuna nako uyate emaswati afuna nako. So sikuthathile lokho sabuka ukuthi uyate khona laba basendako ngoba phela sesiphila ku-era ye-social media bayakufuna nako bayakufuna nalati inhlangano etinkampanini ke nasifikile lokuthi hey uyathi inkosi yami leni kudlalako ngabe kusahamba nathi siwuthatha ngekulokukhulu utandla etinkulu lokho sihlale phasi sikubukete. So tikhona tinhlelo tilethwe ngilokuthi labantu bafunani icumbi nje yema corporates bekakhala ngetinhlelo leti family oriented like bengishide ekuqaleni bakhala ngetinhlelo leti youth friendly. Uyabona nje when you want to align lokho i-brand yakho nabo social media and what bafuna tinhlelo leti ngathi tikhulumisa insha kakhulu tinkampani incumbi yato. So tikhona leti like your squad code this and that with Mdura, it's a comedy show nayo lensha lesiyendi trial yayo ngayo i-festive. So kumcoka kakhulu lokuthi nalokugcizelela lokuthi sikuthathe lokhu ngetandla letimbili ukuthi kuyendeka. Sikhulumisa indzaba ye-TV license. Lapho khona sithi emaswati akasibambisa bhadale i-TV license. Utati buta ke lo munye ukuthi ngabe lapha nangabe ngibhadala i-TV license yami bese ingisita ngani. It speaks to the institution. Kubese seyakhona ukuthenga natinhlelo letinsha. Lephinze akugcini lapho kuphinze kuvule ematfuba emisebenti kumbe esiveni ngoba sathi nje ukuthi inqumbi leti inhlelo sakhelwa ama independent producers la fika ke msabanteni afike neliphupho sibuye ukuthi awuyathi iconcept yakho maye yinhle kepha ngabe singayipholisha kanjani ukuthi ibe in line kumbe nakulokufunwa eliswati bese ke sebayakhona ukuthi basishuthele but kukhulisa amathuba emsebenzi kuphinze kunika fresh content kumbe kunangelo bhadala i-TV license yakhe nalo longayibhadali kepha lesemkhuthatha ukuthi njenge stage nkosiyami sibambisene maswati sibhadale i-TV license sidawubukela inhlelo letisha njalo njalo.
Lindo ushido ukuthi i-Eswatini TV une short term strategy kuva nje ukuthi what is Eswatini TV looking to achieve kahle kahle mhlambe ngaloku introduce the new programs mhlambe nasibuka in terms of viewership nifisa kufika phi nje kule short term strategy ning Eswatini TV.
Now ungena kakhulu kulomkhombandlela kumbe lo fike nayo umflo mzala uchaza kabanti ngokuthi sifisa lokungathi singa producer a fresh content now and then ngathi singa create amathuba ngathi singa satisfy i-viewer ngathi singa satisfy ema corporates ethu ema corporates ethu ke nasengibuya nje kule launch yakusasa siwamemile samema nalabanye labamelele ema viewers emakhaya ukuthi ababuye babe part of us babukete nathi inhlelo nathi le after a certain period of time stawuphinde sibile singabe kusese relevant yini maswati ke nasikhuluma corporate asibambise kakhulu sibuya kubo COVID-19 lapho live belintengantenga kude emnotho basibambisa bangabuyele emuva ngekuthi kumbe simo sinjani asikhona kwenti content so kubuya kwethu now that kumbe impilo seyinormal sizithi asibabite sihlale phansi nabo sibalayele ku program yethu nje kusasa batabe babona ngoba uthola ukuthi ka sales department yaphuma ama proposal sicela ukuthi ningenela sithi kusasa abakubone ngosile lesikusho ukuthi nathi inhlelo nasikhuluma ngeSqueezeback sikhuluma ngenfole kanje masikhuluma nge30 second advert sikhuluma ngento kanje nasikhuluma ngelower 30 and many more your scrolling messages what not so sithi de ababe part of us singathi sitentela info yethu sibite emaswati atawuhlangana abukele lokho lesibavetela kona ngalokho semthethweni.
Mhlambe nje kunalenye ibusiness mhlambe yasilalela nje lendweni nayo ifisa kuba ingcenye here umsebenzi kusasa ngabe sisekhona isikhala mhlambe naye potential client sisekhona isikhala ukuthi mhlambe angeta naye atawubuka ukuthi what is Eswatini TV offering.
Nembala nkosami singathokota kakhulu sibathinsile lesicabanga ukuthi sisebenzele nabo sikhathi kukhona labafuna ukuthi imbanzakanya nathi kumbe asikatfola ithuba lekubati kepha ke sithi bangasithinta inombolo yalakhaya ithi 2411 9600 bacele kufakwa ka sales siyawenda noma kanjani ukuthi nabo siyabasendela loyo information ukuthi ke kusasa sendani emovie zone nga 8 am.
Kome kungena njengalana nje vele sesikhuluma nje ngawo lama packages lendiyo ngoba sizakumela ukuthi vele sinawo lama clients vele lahlala anathi ngibekise nje Eswatini Revenue Service hlale siba nabo ngabo lesihlanu bakhuluma ngathi zabatemthelo mhlambe lomunye somabhizinisi omalenye inkampani ngafisa naye ukuthi ibe nge-ERS ibe neslot nje sayo nje mhlambe weekly ingabe ni ithina package ningamthengisela nithini
shuthi masi ngidawubekisa nje kumbe ngelihlelo lesikulo nyalo kusile breakfast show nangabe sinema rates lahlukene for inkampani kumbe le SME sine rate yelson for sine rate ye NGO sine rate ye corporate so naso ufikile kithi ke siye sikutshele ngobuya data nawe ukuthi ufolisha under corporate or SME or church or NGO then siyakuniketa i quotation as per your need. I won't divulge much but nje kumbe lengakusho islot sa is it 5 minutes kusile breakfast show sing 3800 ngala ka kusile breakfast show but naso ufike wethu kuxoxisana nathi ka sales department sitakunika more information in regards to your company.
Lokusho ukuthi bakhona mhlawumbe discounts now nathi nje client ufuna kuba na Eswatini TV for a whole year.
Sine sibe maswati nemaswati ethu funa sesihleli phansi nje sabona ukuthi sowuthenge abayi10 siyakupha lamathathu mahala.
So mhlambe going back to lama programs nje ushuthi ukuthi akhona onke ama sectors entertainment bonke bo business ingabe vele mhlambe kusiniketa nje sithombe ukuthi some of the shows adlala nini ngabo dikhathi bani mhlambe kuzama nje ukualetha ama viewers.
Ngicabanga ukuthi sitawetfula kusasa sitawetfula le program schedule yethu kumbe kulama clients la khona sitawube sesiyabuya emoyeni sesitowetfula kahle futhi ukuthi luhlelo lolunjena sesilunchile lutawungena kanje but letinye tikhona vele emaswati ayatati like I business watch iyangena njengalesithathu nga 2 p.m.
Okay, so umsakado wathatha sinqumo lindiyo sokuthi some of these programs nakhona awafake ku YouTube ngabe vele mhlambe imvo leyo sive siyakuphokotela nokuthi siyakhona ukubukela noma ngabe sikuphi semotweni noma ngabe ngikuphi ithini vele mhlambe nje le update kulelo hlangothi
nako ke lokuhle ukuthi siphila ku era ye social media bese ngeke lokho sakushela ngemuva emaswati ayakuphokotela kakhulu ikakhulu utfola ukuthi luhlelo lokushila so yakhona kuhamba uyo catch up ku social media when it comes to our clients the corporate companies and your SMEs whatnot bayatfokota kakhulu ngoba utfola ukuthi I-added value utawufika utothenga slot wena ukuthi utabe ulaka KBS studio but utfole ukuthi so utfola added value so ubona nayo lokho yakho seyiyambimba ku social media wethu we si break khona nge-viewership lesetulu kakhulu so uchamuka as an added value of which ema clients ayakuthokotela kakhulu kanti ke noma ngasi client uyiview utfola ukuthi ukushile but uyakhona ku catch up bayakutfoteta kakhulu ubona ngale tinombolo ngoba adimit iyachubeka think makhelwane utshela makhelwane ukuthi
so tonke le tinhlelo
tiyatfolakala ka YouTube
okay naku app
naku Facebook nabo Twitter kanjalo
okay kuma sisanga semaphethelweni kuva nje ilanga la kusasa ime kanjani nje program tabe wondekana batabe bakhona ba presenter ingabe tabe khona ithuba lokuthi mhlambe bavusele kuma fans abo
cha kuyafikwa nje kusasa kuyangenwa kubukelwa le showreel lefaka khathi letinhlelo letikhona letinsha utawungena na sales athi kwetfula ema packages akhe in line with the new program schedule bo presenter betfu ke awu batabe babonakala lo batela active utababona live kusasa batawutfola lithuba lekuvusela ema viewers nawo ema clients ethu le kuma corporates la menu ukuthi abe part of us batazivusela sicabanga ukuthi noma ngathiwa nawe awukamenywa kepha nje lapha ngase movie zone nakunebuso lobuthanza kutabona kusasa ukhona nekushoot platform
okay ku accommodate nje mhlambe ama viewers latabakashane will Eswatini TVP live streaming sasa
yes most definitely ngicabanga ukuthi labangekho khona batawukhona kubukela emakhaya ukuthi kwentekani kulomdumbadumbane wa Eswatini TV
right no ngevakala simakhulu lindiwe kuba nathi on the show sizama ukuthi mbukele itinhlelo utawuciba ukuthi ithokotele utibukele kumabona ukuthi wakho phinza utibukele nasecingweni lakho ungene nje khasini lethu Eswatini TV tonke yatfolakala khona titabe ketethula ngalokusemthethweni kusasa lokho khona lapha movie zone hlala nathi siyabuya khona manje
I'm a very happy customer.
I know. Ngikimbele.
Ngicela ukubhadala le mali yakho ujabulisa kakhulu shami.
Imali ebhizinisi ayidliwa wayidla utholala phansi.
Hayi ngimsebenzi yethu lesindako la ekhaya njengoba niyibona linihle kangaka.
Ngiyakolosha which is crocheting.
Ngiyakhicita ke noko kakhulu emsebenzini wetikhumba.
Ngenda kodaba emacici nokugaba ensanyeni.
Ngilungisa emagedlela.
Hello, how are you? We are selling peanuts at 5. Thank you so much. Umdala kubusi. Find the strat, babe.
All All right, welcome back. It's 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. Sicatha kukhulumisana na Business Development Officer Lindiwe Mathenjwa lapha ekhaya Eswatini. Eswatini TV kusasa itaba yetfula ngalasemthethweni the new programs maningi ama-programs lasa siboniswe elofaka ekhathi yona nje Business Watch that we are hosting ledlala every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and also kunalenye nje Market Watch nakhona idlala Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursdays. It is hosted by us, my colleague and I. Tinhlelo ke leti mhlambe letibuke nje tindzaba temabhizinisi lephindze tibuke ukuthi timakethe time kanjani. Sibuka nje kakhulukati tindzaba temabhizinisi, business sector, ukuthi bosomabhizinisi bathini. Itolo nje besibuka tona tindzaba te-budget speech, kubuka lokho ukuthi what are we anticipating njengoba nje umhlonishwa Reichenberg utabe athula emaphakelo on Friday. So tiningi nje tinhlelo kuni letinye lesithi sitabe sithi sokumisa kusasa. The recent programs nje lakhona savele qalile kudlala bo golden hour tiningi kakhulu naletinye letindzala naletinye letibuyako phande estradeni bayabuya nabo naletinye nje leteka entertainment. So there's a lot to look forward to usabukela umsakazo Eswatini TV and also tiyatfolakala lokumnanzi ukuthi tiyatfolakala na ku YouTube, so you can watch la ukhona kungabi ukuthi uthenga ukuthi ube sendlini kuphela. So you can watch on your phone, you can watch on a tablet or your laptop. Unaongena nje go YouTube Eswatini TV.
Yeah, certainly, Lulu. I think more than anything, if we analyze some of these new programs, they are really in line with where the direction that the country is taking right now. And I think a lot of that direction, even though, you know, the speech from the throne was particularly addressing the 12th Parliament, but some of the things that are inherent in that speech, Ingonyama Jena highlight times about you know, in the opening of his speech, reflecting on the previous year, which is 2023, Kubona Maswati being able to chart, you know, a path that we are going to take as by a lot of these programs do address, or rather, you know, aveta some of these things that address as by, you know, are trying to have conversations around some of the things that were addressed there, because it's very important public servants are they held accountable? Are they doing their jobs? You know, so a lot of these programs look into that. You were making an example with Signal Market View, Kuna Business Watch. Nasabukatona, the business. We also look into a lot of, you know, portfolios as well as ministries. Latsinzega, la Faikats, Iltigo, Tengselana, Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Iltigo Laga Natural Resources and Energy, Laga ICT. We want to see, you know, the programs that they have under these ministries that are to Salive. Le Maswati, and you know, with what we are granted, the privilege that we are granted as you know, the media space, as journalists, which is Kulumisane nabo parts baleti, you know, of these different entities and ministries, ukuthi basinikete vele i-direction labayithathayo umnyaka nje usaqala. And I think eMaswati appreciate lokho, kubona lokho ukuthi okay, sihamba kanye our interests are being served, they have our best interests at heart. And so, you know, it's very important ukuthi sibe nato leti inhlelo leti. But like you were saying, we also have the entertainment shows as well, from the production side of, you know, of our news station, of Eswatini TV to be specific. And I think those are really, really exciting programs. Golden Hour has a lot of viewers. Squad Code recently broke the internet. So yeah, it's interesting.
And also I think it's important because kube khona nalokukhala ukuthi so Eswatini TV uthi sivasibhadale i-TV license, but kudele fresh content sikubonile lokho kwendeka vele sivesikhala ukuthi sicela fresh content singabhadale i-TV license kepha solo sibukela timvo takatsene. So I think naye nje Lindiwe ithinzile lokuthi vele bakubukile lokho bangumsakato ukuthi vele siyacela ngala ukuthi sive sibhadale i-TV license, nathi ke sibahlangabede sibanikete fresh content. So umvabhadale i-TV license abada ukuthi ndawubukela i-content lensha.
And you know, speaking of fresh content, it may not be entirely new, but the approach that the station has taken in broadcasting our national events has been very different. You know, you look back at the marathon broadcast of the elections, which amassed a lot of viewers, you know, even in the diaspora, and which was great, by the way, because if it's elections, everyone knows what to be involved. And wonke umuntu nalebe kathi khanza ukuthi ingcenye use-London noma use-Ethiopia, uyakhona kulandzela umsebenzi wonke lo wenteka la khaya. And they even got a chance to be a part of the elections by sending videos, and it was beautiful to see emaswati onke abumbene, and as it always is beautiful njengoba nje sibonile nencwala si-broadcastile, umhlanga si-broadcastile, kungmanje si-broadcasta Bukana ceremony, and the way that it, you know, it is being broadcast, vele kusuke kungiyo i-main attraction. So vele kuba ngiko loku broadcastwako, you know, so much so a funny comment that I received from a friend, and unfortunately I wasn't watching, I was on the road. I received a call umuntu uthi, how sasithi indzaba ngi-7 tiphi indzaba, ngithi kwentekani kudlalani, uthi kunebugani, ngithi hawu manje umangaliswa yini phela ngoba
lokuhle ke ngaloko ke sifise lokuthi leti indzaba utatibona later ka YouTube uyangena. Yes, so sakhuluma nje ngathi indzaba nato ditaba disunyisa ngalakusemthethweni kusasa setting 1 hour because I think le promo nje so liyadlala lokuthi since the beginning of February, the 5th of February, tindzaba solo tidlala 1 hour.
Different
so
broadcast setters were
yes.
different look and feel.
Yeah, but as Lindy said, you want to be part of the launch tomorrow as a corporate, you can contact Eswatini TV on 24119600. Ngalosi vele sifuna khanga bona bosoma businesses sifuna khanga donate inkampani ukuthi tito advertiser nathi. We have affordable packages for corporates kanjalo kana bosoma business labancane ukuthi ba advertise lapha sifisa ukhazile nangama squeeze bags wachaza nangama scrollers, so you have different options ukuthi wena ufise ku advertiser a business yakho kanjani.
And maybe even outside of, you know, the commercial aspect of it, Lungelele, the viewer itself, who enjoys Eswatini TV or even enjoys other channels that are not Eswatini TV, want to win their hearts and want them to enjoy Eswatini TV. And as our Chief Executive Officer always says, Eswatini TV should be a world-class broadcaster, pardon me, and indeed you can already see that that's the path that we have taken, and that is indeed where we are headed, and it's really beautiful to see so many viewers. And what I love the most is seeing the interactions, particularly from, you know, Twitter. We have a lot of people on Twitter who love to engage, you know, some criticize constructively, and I love how, you know, it's just the fact that they are avid viewers. There's somebody right now watching and they will make a comment on Twitter, and you know, it takes a lot to wake up with us in the morning, Lulu. Me and you should know that. Waking up at 4 a.m. every day to be here at 5 a.m. and live at 6 a.m. and already there's someone who is waiting now, Bonala Paga YouTube, waiting to watch, and eventually we do see the numbers climbing as we continue to broadcast the program. So we do want to appreciate everyone that watches our programs, and not just KBS, all these other new programs, and hopefully the numbers will keep growing.
Yeah, hope to see you tomorrow. Bugera also will be live streaming, I think from 8 o'clock until 11 around that time. So yeah, kungmanje let's take a break. Sibuye netindzaba tesingisi.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba research bafunze. Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
Welcome back. This is the news at 7. The first leg of the Bukana ceremony concluded on a high note when Luthango members bade farewell to His Majesty King Mswati III and Her Majesty Ndlovukazi at Buhleni Royal Residence on Sunday. Luthango displayed thrilling traditional dances when bidding farewell to their Majesties.
Luthango members gifted their Majesties with electrifying performances on the final day of the first leg of the highly acclaimed Bukanu ceremony. The regiment displayed great zeal and excitement while dancing before their Majesties, led by Emakhosikati to His Majesty. The regiment skillfully danced to Ummiso songs which were Gqamu Wabekwa, Inkomo Zabantu, Live Liyafanana, and the iconic Njiloni. A show-stopping performance by Their Royal Highnesses Princess Tianza and Princess Temaswati was one of the highlights of the day. Their Royal Highnesses, Bantu Benkhosi, catapulted the event into greater heights with a solid performance. Among the highlights of the day was when Inkhosikati Lakhumalo, wife to His Royal Highness Prince Majaha, graced the stage. Also gracing the stage was Magela Shongwe. Utsamba performances were also rendered by Balukatana, Lutsango from Lutsitsini Royal Residence, Security Forces, and Eswatini National Fire and Emergency Services. The nation now eagerly awaits the announcement of the second leg of the ceremony, which will be celebrated at Hlane Royal Residence. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya reporting from Buhleni Royal Residence.
His Excellency the Prime Minister has returned home following his work trip to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he represented His Majesty King Mswati III at the African Union Summit.
yebunye ba-Afrika ikubeka imbili bunye nekuthula. So kunetinto nje letifanele ukuthi tikhulunywe egumeni. So ke takhulunywa ke leto tinto letimqoka egumeni letiphatselene nabo baholi nekusebenta nendlela yekusebenta kwe-African Union. Kubeke i-theme yalo mhlangano beyigcile kakhulu kuto temfundo kwekuthi i-Afrika kufanele kwekuthi iphakamise ihambise embili temfundo letitawukhona kwekuthi tente live le-Afrika livekati le-Afrika liphumelele kusasa kuliciniso ukuthi kunema opportunities lamakhulu elikusasa le livekati le-Afrika kepha ke i-education kubone imfundo kubonakala ukuthi kufuna iqiniswe ukuze ukuthi ikhona ukuproduce abantu labasha netisebenzi letawukhona kwekuthi tilungele ema-challenges akusasa. Sikhulumile ke nangato kuguquguquka kwelitulu lapho khona sikhonile kuthula inkulumo yelive yokuthi emave akabambisane asebenzisane ngokuthi anqiphise lokubulala ludwadwasi kodwa nokuthi abambisane kuzokuthi technology athole technology le clean nokuthi sihlala sicezelela njalo kwekuthi ema resources lesinawo kube khona ibalance yokuthi njengase nje evenangwane sinayo i-coal kungiyo imineral lenyendi kakhulu ukuthi ngeke phela bese sesiyayilahla funa sichubeke zizuze kuyo.
This year's celebration of His Majesty King Mswati III's birthday will be held in Mangayane on the 19th of April. This was disclosed by the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Princess Lindiwe, when delivering the King's message to princes and chiefs of the Manzini region in a meeting held at the Manzini regional offices.
Mhlaka 19 April lusuku lwenkosi shokusinga ngesiswati nathi lishumi nemfica kuye mabasa lusuku lwenkosi liyachubeka bekunene eMangayane.
His Majesty has blessed the 19th of April 2024 as the celebration day for his birthday, and it will be held in Mangayane. We therefore inform you formally as chiefs in the region, and you will be in charge of this project. We expect you to showcase the various regiments you have in the region and further provide guidance on many other things.
The Manzini Regional Administrator, Chief Gija, says as a region, they welcome the celebrations with both hands.
Sisive sakamanzini sisetawubitana sikhumbutane ngehlonipho kwaMaswati.
As the Manzini region, we are going to convene meetings to emphasize the importance of behaving well during the celebrations. We will also have practice sessions where we will be singing and performing cultural dances. We really appreciate that the celebrations will be held in our region.
Chief Ngalongulu expressed appreciation on behalf of all chiefs in the Manzini region. Mangayane last hosted the celebration of His Majesty's birthday during the 50-50 double celebration in 2018, as it was one of the satellite celebration centers which were erected around the country. Reporting, Mbongwa Dube, Sindiswazwane, Manzini.
The Minister for Finance, Neil Rackenberg, has said this year's budget will focus more on improving the social welfare of Eswatini, with particular focus being that of creating job opportunities, health, education and agriculture, amongst other priorities. The Minister highlighted this when asked what this year's budget will focus on.
We're going to be really making sure that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health take a priority in the budget, as has been asked for by Sibaya, and even the questions and the response we've been getting on the social media platforms we've opened up for people to comment on. Those are two areas that will be getting a lot of focus. But at the same time, we are also analyzing all the Sibaya submissions and to see what we can do within the different ministries, the Ministry of Youth, and so we're trying to see what we can fit in there. But there's a very strong drive for growth. And so we are really trying to make sure that whatever we do, we're taking growth very seriously. We do believe that our main problems are poverty and unemployment. And what will take us out of that is growth. Growth supplies not only more jobs, but better quality jobs. And more jobs and better quality jobs sorts out the poverty problem. So we really are focusing quite heavily on growth and to see what we can do in that space to try and grow the economy. Agriculture has always been getting a lion's share and a top priority within the budget to be able to try and do so. With us continuing with the Mkondo Ngwavuma projects, it's definitely continuing to get a decent share of the budget.
The Kingdom of Eswatini, in conjunction with a delegation from India, convened on Wednesday to engage in bilateral discussions. The meetings included high-level officials from various ministries, including information, communication and technology, health and education. The aim of these talks is to foster stronger ties and cooperation between the two nations.
Clerk to Parliament Benedict Kaba explains what godly leadership is all about and how it can benefit the Kingdom of Eswatini. He also explains the importance of bringing together different stakeholders to ensure that this is common amongst everyone.
Sibukile ke lokuthi mawungahlanganisa ema-stakeholders latsite lamcoka eveni uphike nje bani lapha nalapha kungakhona ukuthi lo mlilo uhlanyeleke wale godly governance noma leyo good governance.
Switzerland Member of Parliament Samuel Kuhlman, who is in the Kingdom, has given a piece of advice to local legislators.
To be aware that whatever funds we have in the government and state, it's taxpayers' money. So, and they have been taken away from hardworking citizens first for the state to be able to spend. So we should use them with the utmost care.
Apostle John Sago says it is vital for the Kingdom of Eswatini to have the right altar for all issues to be solved.
God began to speak to me that it is necessary that the Eswatinians know that they have been praying, but this is the time that God is coming down into the nation and to bring a restoration in our medical institution, because he's raising a special medical institution for people that have a special need, so that people must stop going outside to seek for medical help, and people must stop dying unnecessarily.
This seminar is expected to continue with more engagements with other stakeholders. For Eswatini TV News, Tangosi Mavimbela, Mpabane.
The business community is expecting no increased tax in this year's budget. The Chief Executive Officer of Business Eswatini shared this when sharing the business sector's expectations of the budget, which will be tabled by the Minister of Finance, Neil Reichenberg, this coming Friday in Parliament.
Firstly, we would like the Honourable Minister not to yield to the temptation of raising taxes. That's number one. And we are saying that because we are looking at the prospects of this economy this year. The prospects are that the economy will grow by 4.9%, which is a huge figure, which we are very excited about. But also equally, we are aware that the public debt as a percentage of GDP has gone down immensely. I think from figures like 5% to 1.6 or 1.8%. All of those figures bode well for the either maintenance of the taxes or even reduction if possible. So we would ask the Honourable Minister not to yield to that temptation of raising taxes. Secondly, he has been talking about streamlining SOEs, state-owned enterprises. We support that because we are feeling that it is time for state-owned enterprises to be streamlined in order to cut costs on the part of government. We'll be looking forward that he will say something about that and put an action agenda in place for this year so that we can see if that can happen as expeditiously as possible. We don't have time.
The Youth Enterprise Fund commits to training young entrepreneurs. Speaking during an MOU signing, the fund's CEO Mandla Nkambule says to mitigate business failures among youth entrepreneurs, there is a need to prioritize intensive training before dispensing funds. Nkambule says this can only be achieved by collaborating with SEDCO.
This strategic collaboration between the Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund and SEDCO demonstrates YEF's commitment to sustainable youth entrepreneurship and economic empowerment by providing in-depth training. The fund's CEO, Mandla Nkambule, says the fund aims to empower young business owners and enhance their chances of success in the competitive marketplace. Insect. SEDCO's Managing Director, Ketiwe Mhlanga, says SEDCO is willing to capacitate young.
Program. The third one, in terms of outreach, as Youth Fund, we are opening more satellite offices. I think SEDCO, as we know, we've been always disseminating information through you, so we are looking forward to opening more satellite offices already. Cessna 4.
SEDCO's Managing Director, Ketiwe Mhlanga, says SEDCO is willing to capacitate young business owners.
We will be, as SEDCO, be dedicated particularly to the youth that has benefited from the funding in terms of ensuring that they get the coaching that they deserve. Any of the training, whether it's legal services they require, and just advise even if they need to remodel their business.
Since January 2024, the fund has received 5,000 applications. For Eswatini TV News, Sondo Mlangeni, Mbabane.
In international news, Russian courts have sentenced dozens of people detained at events commemorating Kremlin critic to short prison sentences. Official court announcements showed with 154 sentenced in St. Petersburg alone.
Russians have been laying flowers and memorials across the country, and again on Sunday, freezing temperatures did not stop people from honoring Alexei Navalny. Except this Moscow memorial, a historic site built to denounce political repression, which was blocked by police. The piles don't always seem large, and that may be due to events like this one in St. Petersburg, where people were filmed in this amateur footage removing flowers from a memorial. St. Petersburg is also reported as the city where authorities arrested 200 people who laid flowers to honor the man who stood up to Russian leader Vladimir Putin. These other arrests were made in Moscow. Overall, more than 400 people have been detained. Meanwhile, Alexei Navalny's family has still not been able to see his body.
The refusal to give back his body under pretext that they need to carry out extra tests reinforces the idea that he was poisoned and that there is a will of the killers, the criminal authorities in Moscow, to conceal his poisoning with manipulations and falsifications.
This is the penal colony where Navalny was detained. His family and allies want not only to get his body back at once, but also the videos showing his last days. They want to investigate his death, which Russia's prison services say is due to a sudden death syndrome, whose cause they say has yet to be established.
EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell Monday pledged that Russian President Vladimir Putin would be held to account for Alexei Navalny's death after he met the opposition leader and Kremlin's foe's widow. Navalny's death in an Arctic prison last week has shocked Russia's exiled opposition, which, along with the West, pointed the finger at the Kremlin.
EU foreign ministers welcome Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's widow Yulia Navalnaya in Brussels. just after she released a message on social media.
We know exactly why Putin killed Alexei 3 days ago. We will tell you about it soon. We will definitely find out who exactly and how exactly this crime was carried out. We will name names and show faces.
Navalny's death in prison has outraged Russia's exiled opposition and Western powers alike as they point the finger at the Kremlin. EU foreign ministers are looking at how to inflict new penalties on Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Member states will propose sanctions, for sure, against the responsible. Well, the great responsible is Putin himself. But we can go down to the institutional structure of the penitentiary system in Russia. But don't forget who is the real responsible for the Navalny's death.
Evgenia Karamurza, wife of Russian political prisoner Vladimir Karamurza, called for unity at the summit.
The global community must be united in their support for the Ukrainian people and also for the people within Russian civil society who understand what's happening and oppose the regime. Each person who opposes Vladimir Putin, whether inside or outside Russia, is in danger.
The EU has already imposed unprecedented sanctions on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine, with officials saying this leaves less room for maneuver in inflicting further pain.
Russian forces have taken complete control of the Ukrainian city of Avdiivka, Russia's defense ministry said on Saturday. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu told the Kremlin that Russian forces were now working to clear the final pockets of resistance at the Avdiivka coke and chemical plant.
These images were released by the Russian Ministry of Defense on Sunday. They claim to show Ukrainian soldiers under intense enemy artillery fire near Avdiivka, a town in the Donetsk region that Russian forces say they're now in complete control of. They claim they're in the process of clearing the area of the few remaining soldiers, and they're not planning on stopping there.
Our troops will continue their offensive operations in order to free the People's Republic of Donetsk, which is in the hands of nationalist Ukrainians.
On the Ukrainian side, it's these images that are being shared. Soldiers gathered around a fire in the basement of the Avdiivka coke and chemical plant. They're surrounded by shelling. Even this soldier's coffee isn't spared. A plant that Russian forces claim to have taken control of on Monday. Despite losing Avdiivka, Volodymyr Zelensky remains confident. According to the Ukrainian president, his troops can recover land abandoned by the Russians, and Vladimir Putin, quote, can still lose. On Sunday, Ukrainian authorities accused Russian forces of shooting 6 unarmed Ukrainian prisoners of war in the city and 2 others near Bakhmut. The prosecutor's office in Donetsk has opened an investigation. Russia's defense ministry has yet to respond to the allegations, but Moscow has previously denied claims that it has killed prisoners of war.
U.S. offer to Turkey to buy F-35 stealth jets puts the future of Turkey's controversial purchase of Russian missiles in doubt as the battle over Turkish allegiance accelerates.
Turkey's purchase of the United States advanced F-35 military jet could be back on the agenda. Ankara was kicked out of the jet program after it purchased Russian S-400 anti-aircraft missiles, which Washington said compromised the F-35's stealth technology. But during a visit to Istanbul last month, acting U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland offered to revive the jet sale if the Russian missiles were removed to a third country. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan indicated Ankara could be open to a deal.
After the purchase of the anti-aircraft missiles, which was unprecedented, and I think that some people in Erdogan's cabinet also admit that this was a big mistake, Turkey's purchase of the S-400s. It was a very costly endeavor.
Turkey's purchase of the S-400 missiles, observers say, is a powerful symbol of its deepening ties with Russia and deteriorating relations with Washington. The deal was signed during a time of distrust as Ankara accused Washington of involvement in the 2016 failed coup attempt, a charge denied by the US. Turkey's ties with the US have been improving with Ankara's ratification of Sweden's NATO membership and Washington reciprocating by allowing the sale of F-16 jets to Turkey. But the F-16 is inferior to the F-35, which neighbour and rival Greece is set to purchase as part of its military modernization.
When you read Turkey's hawks, everybody is afraid that the air force balance over the Aegean is not tilting, or is going to be tilting, in favor of Greece.
Analysts, however, say that whether Ankara takes up Washington's offer of F-35 jets in exchange for removing the Russian-made missiles, possibly to a Turkish ally like Azerbaijan or Qatar or even Libya, depends on the progress of improving relations with the United States.
Turkey can easily renounce on S-400. It is a political decision. It is not military necessity. It is a political decision and political compromise. So far, S-400 helped Turkey to increase the level of negotiations with NATO and the United States of America.
Ankara's purchase of Russian missiles was widely seen as a diplomatic triumph for Moscow, dividing Turkey from its NATO allies. The missiles' removal, analysts say, would be a similarly significant victory for Washington.
Israel has threatened to invade Gaza's Rafah by the start of Ramadan if Hamas does not return the remaining hostages by then, despite international pressure to protect Palestinian civilians sheltering in the southern city.
Palestinians here in eastern Rafah inspect the damages amid the aftermath of an Israeli strike. On Sunday, Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz set a deadline for a planned ground invasion of Gaza's southernmost city, despite mounting calls to hold off sending in troops.
The world must know, and Hamas leaders must know, if by Ramadan our hostages are not home, the fighting will continue everywhere, including the Rafah area.
Ramadan, the Islamic holy month, is expected to start around the 10th of March. The planned ground offensive in Rafah has sparked international concern for the fate of Palestinians living in the city, which is situated on the border with Egypt. More than half of the enclave's 2.3 million population are sheltering in Rafah in dire humanitarian conditions. International mediators have attempted to broker a truce for weeks, but several rounds of talks involving the US, Israel, Egypt and Qatar have so far failed to produce an agreement, with the Israeli Prime Minister reiterating his vow to eliminate Hamas.
We cannot leave a quarter of Hamas's terrorist battalions intact. You wouldn't leave a quarter of ISIS intact in a defined territory. You wouldn't even think about that, and you didn't. America finished the job with its allies. We will finish the job here with our brave soldiers.
In Israel, meanwhile, protesters continue to demand the release of the hostages, with many urging the government to negotiate. A truce agreement last November led to the release of 105 hostages in exchange for 240 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. 130 hostages are still being held in Gaza, including 30 who are presumed dead, according to Israeli figures.
In our sports news, junior local swimmer Lucas Fraser is around 11,000 Malangeni richer after clinching 2 medals at the 2024 Hamilton Aquatics Games in Dubai this past weekend. The 13-year-old won a gold medal and a bronze at the Games.
Local junior swimmer Lucas Fraser, after raising the country's flag higher in the 2024 Hamilton Aquatics Games in Dubai Opening Swim Championship that started on the 16th up to the 18th of February this year. The 13-year-old began a beautiful journey when clinching a bronze medal on Saturday under the 100-meter backstroke that is equivalent to 3,000 Marangeni. The main attention was on Sunday after clinching a gold medal in 50 meters backstroke that is equivalent to 8,000 Marangeni locally, which meant that he's totally pocketing 11,000 Marangeni. Everything's looking really. Speaking to Eswatini TV Sports Desk, Lucas Fraser expressed his excitement for the achievement, and assured the nation and his supporters that he's looking to do better in future competitions. His coach, who also happened to be the acting president of the Eswatini Swimming Association, Welcome Hlabatsi, also applauded the youngster for the achievement and wish all the best in future competitions as he proves to be the future of the country. Both Eswatini Olympic Commonwealth Games Association and Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council applauded the youngster for his achievements. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
Thank you for staying with us as Battle of the Magetist.
Vibes from Hoops. Studio One is back on your screens with brand new episodes. Brand new episodes. Catch your favorite local artists, live performances, your movers and shakers, the hustlers, doing the work. Entertainment news, local and international, nothing but fresh vibes every Saturday at 6 p.m. Let's go. What are you doing on a Saturday evening? We got nothing but the best. Vibes from Hoops.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi
aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
It's 33 minutes after 6. Let's welcome our in-house senior journalist, LinkedIn Kusile. LinkedIn, a very important invitation into our program today. Kwakiwa Live, it's a big week. Siyati ukuthi isikhathi ukuthi indvuna yete ema-final Reichenberg itfule emaphakelo ngalesihlanu kunengele sevele kuxoxwa in anticipation of emaphakelo, but lokukhulu kakhulu ngiwo emagama ayo indvuna lesewavetile ekuthenini they will prioritize education and health as per usual. Sisitayele lokho akusinvo lensha kodwa lokunye lokuvelayo ukuthi kutawufuna ukuthi athi establish sona speech sakhe ababeke speech from the throne la celeni kuthatha some of the recommendations from Silo Semhlaba in making the key sectors that will have to be prioritized ekufuleni umnotho welive. Engabe umbukele ekhaya lo tibutako ukuthi why is health and education always prioritized, especially in the backdrop of everything that has happened khona etiko letempilo and the many concerns that have been there under the education sector?
Sifisa sivusele maswati namhla ekseni uyakhumbula lokho ngeminyaka wa 2018 na live lithola i report i demographic dividend ukuthi ngabe nasikhuluma ngepopulation yelive leSwatini le structure sakhona sithini kwavete kasithombe sekuthi we've got a young population kusho sithi baningi bantu labasha labangaphansi nje ngibekise ngaphansi kwa 24 years, the bracket leyo iningi kakhulu. Lokho kusho ukuthini? Kusho ukuthi live kuyadinga ukuthi liqinise indzaba yetempilo ngoba you need young people labantu abaphilile liyawutsinga siliqinisenza bada ka-education ngoba utsinga ukuthi babe bavula nema-skills latside ngiko-ke uhulumende nanaye watibophelela sifiso ukuthi i-budget leya ka-education le-allocation yakhona at least yawuthi ibe ngu-15% of the national budget. Uyakhumbula ngamnyaka nakathula i-budget speech ya last year minister 2023-2024 waveta sithombe sekuthi le budget leyo beyime ku-19% of the national budget lebeyithunyelwe ka-education. And in the health sector nakhona waveta sithombe leyo ukuthi babheke ukuthi ngaMarch 2024 abe maningi emaswati langenako ku-antiretroviral treatment. Nakhona lapho yase iyenyuka ke i-budget yaka health lokukhomba konayo ukuthi nembala bebatinakile leti ngqwala letibeli lokhuluma ngathi niyalo ke ngonyama emhlaba nayivula iParliament ivete nje magama lathi kude ukuswati lekumele lihambe emhlabeni ngenza beke ukuthi kude ayikathuli isito lelikahle lesitempini. So we do anticipate ukuthi nalonyaka iyawufike itholakala imali yokuthi live lichubeke emhlabeni lithuthukise lona ndzaba tetempilo.
Yeah, satsenzana indzaba yetempilo, and you know, to what was an ambition in the previous budget speech kundzaba yayo ema-ARVs. I think it's commendable, and this goes back to something that the King has been highlighting almost in every speech from you know, the 55 double celebration when we hosted President Tsai Ing-wen. One of our proud moments was the announcement of our 95 achievement le ekhathi kwayo yama-ARV adlala inzima lenkulu kakhulu ekuthenini vele bantfu lasebasappressile leligciwane alisase-detectable nalaba ku-treatment yawo lama-ARV sesifika ku-population le in Africa we led swahlule onke emava. But another key highlight that the King highlighted with speech from the throne in Indzabeke ukuthi it's been commendable kakhulu ukuthi the health sector through their commendable work the life expectancy has risen from 43 I believe to 65 which is quite commendable, and to the national goal lobolisho ukuthi lonke eLswati and access financial services gamelula. But again, the health sector grappling probably the biggest thorn, let's not show ukuthi sibuye sibayeni sisibuka the talks in parliament right now, even just in society lokukhulu kakhulu indzaba yokuthi the drugs and procurement issue indzaba lelimete kakhulu kwathiwa nje nakuthiwa nyalo kulungisa abo tripartite abantu abambisa abo ACC nekubambisa live kude nkhohlakalo ngiyo lendzaba lelinyeva lesilimete kakhulu emnothweni. Ngabe indzaba lekufuna sukunyelwe kematubane langakanani
bayisukumele sifiso angeke bese sifliba la khala ngale crisis, because the crisis is being addressed. I think a week ago nangaphosisi minister ukhiphe statement sekufika kwema drugs even uyakhumbula ukuthi ngithi I do anticipate imali lengqono letawubheka ketempilo. I think ubudget ya last the financial year lesibuya kuyo it was 2.76 billion. Indeed. I want to believe ukuthi probably ingafika ku 3 billion nalonyaka noma ke inyuke ithi caca. Of course sifiso now diningi mhlambe lento lekufuna etendiwe. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi induna nasi nayifike ehhovisi yachaza leyo ukuthi lama monitoring systems not letinye tinto lebatigcinisayo cameras and all of that. The cameras and everything nale process the procurement process itself nayo iyabuka lokuthi nguphi mhlambe la ibeneti khala khona bese ke bayata kusebenza ke ngendlela yakhona. But nje I want to believe ukuthi sitayibona mhlambe iba ngcono i-budget yaka health nekuqinisa ke kulele tinye tinhlangothi ukhuluma nyalo ukuthi indvunankulu walimemethela libandla lelitabe lilwa nenkhohlakalo uyawugatsa ke ukuthi njoba nenkosi ivetile losi sesikhathi ukuthi abantu babe accountable labo labagangako babe kwenzaweni lefanele. Uyawugatsa ke ukuthi lamanye lama agencies la key ekuthenini level khona kusebenta silwe nayo inkhohlakalo akhanza ke ukuthi sibhekile minister kube khona la kushoko kule budget.
His Majesty highlighted something very, very key, the speech from the throne, would say great quality job opportunities hinge on quality education. You know, you highlighting indzaba ukuthi nalo litiko letemfundo litawuphakelwa kakhulu njengoba na Minister Neil Reichenbach has already said that as per usual anyway. Ngabe what is the biggest role that the education sector has to play, particularly this time with the many concerns that have been there in the previous years?
So sibuya esibayeni la khona emaswati avete indzabe ukuthi sesikhathi mhlambe ukuthi kuhlalwe phansi ibuko le education le curriculum yethu le ukuthi iyadzingeka yini bachamukile bakuma industries wathi yebo kona bakhona abantu labasha like ngisho sithi baningi but are they industry ready siyawukatsa ukuthi mhlambe kube netinhlelo angiyakhumbula lo ukuthi 2018 baka EU basibambisa kulonja the competency based education sifuneka lokubukele ukuthi ngabe yini la nguphi la kufuneka iqiniswe khona iyavela inzaba yabo TVET nakhona lapho sibhekile ukuthi uhulumende kube khona la kushoko minister inzabe nekufaka imali yakhumbula kufana ku 2023 2024 budget baphakelwa 3.96 billion lapho kunemali kuna 647 million lewaconza endzabeni yaka scholarship lebe kwathiwa kutawu coverisha bafunzi labanga 3500 kusuka ku 2500 so nalonyaka ngigatsile ukuthi probably inganyuka le nombolo yebafunzi abatathola scholarship in the backdrop ukuthi live libe nenhlanhla sifiso kule financial year ya 2023-2024 masakhu receipts sathola around 11.75 billion ku 2024-2025 financial year sikase 13.2 billion kuyawusikushina ke lokho nekuthi sikhebese sahulumende sifisa nabuka nasithambuke emuva lekubo 2017 sikhebese besigijima lekubo 4.5 billion emalangeni nyalo nathi uyabuka sesehlile I mean 4.5% of the GDP now ubuka nyalo sesehlile sikhebese World Bank ukhuluma ukuthi siku 2.3% minister is saying siku 2.2% which is more or less the same
minister is saying kufuna sichubeke sehliswa the reliance on massacre receipts kufuna ngathi nayo ingehla and indeed there are programs that are in place for that even the private sector has been urged ekuthenini babambise kulolo hlangothi LinkedIn. How much does it help inzabe kwekuthi I mean we just saw umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu ubuya emhlanganweni webunye bemave eAfrica le African Union has declared umnyaka wa 2024 as the year of education since our curriculum. I want us to further elaborate that point because as by any there was a funny moment which was also, you know, a very serious, sobering moment, so to speak. One of one labasha walaphembili wathi ngiyakhathatheka ukuthi nangisafunza ngangifunza ngenzhethe nangekudoba timbali kodwa nasengifika lana ku labor market ngiyabona ukuthi akungisithi indzawo lo asiyini singalingisa amashayina lafunza kuchachata incingo kubo grade 5 you know so I was speaking to that nasikhuluma ngecurriculum ukuthi perhaps we need to revisit that and teach more practical things.
Yes, we are speaking to that. Asenginokunika desktop baka World Bank bakhipha report I think nga 2022 nanga process ka ba analyze education level leSwatini. One of the things that avela kule report even nanga 2007 kunalenye report lebakhipha baka World Bank bakhala ngekuthi le dropout rate yethu isetulu ngala ekungeneni singenza 100 webafunzi grade 1 ngibekise ngalapha but nase sifika leka form 5 sestikhanza sikhiphe 40 usike lo mbuto baphila labanye labalahlekela endleleni asikhoni ke kubathola yini lokunye lokubanga le ntolo yethu ukhanza ukuthi kunebantu labangasi gifted academically but bangakhona kubhaka stin bangakhona kenikimoto kunemsebenzi londiwa lapha esikoleni lesilapha endasi Embaka lapha labantwana bahlukanisiwe ukuthi bakhona laba labahlalako bafunze labo science ne theory yes bakhona laba labakhenikati imoto bente magesi that is the education le kufuneka iqiniso la vela ngeke uhulumende watifaka letikolo temakhona and again ngengaba nayo i-conversation with minister waka education na minister agriculture na minister finance bonke bakhuluma into yinye ukuthi probably sesifikile isikhathi ukuthi sale asiqinise la unelikhona ngakhona phile ngalo.
Need to identify that at the grassroots level, early stages. That's quite, you know, interesting, and we do hope that will be something that our masinyane LinkedIn. So since inzaba yaga education, yaga health, I want us to, you know, also talk about the other identified key growth sectors. I think we will start with a speech from the throne. His Majesty said, energy as a driving force, even Lagangwane, economically and as well as socio-economically. Commended, of course, our electrification rate, which is very commendable, sitting at 82%, but more has to be done. Also, but the energy sector, that's another conversation. Energy as a driving force, how key is it in this 12th parliament ekuthenini kutholakala ama programs?
Imtoka sifiso live phinze lineliphupho le industrialization. Ingoyami emhlaba nayiphefumula eParliament yaveta nesithombe ukuthi let us add value kunako lesiproducer. If you want then to add value, it means you need energy. Dawudzinga lo gas ngoba ukukhicita kufuneka demandla tibe sezingeni elisedulu. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi financial year lesibuya kuyo baphakela around 1.9 billion ngalaka energy tiko letemandla, and I do anticipate ukuthi probably njoba sivile inkosi ukuthi siteni ngiyacabanga leyo mali leyo kunemisebenzi lendekako eveni kusama ekuthenini level connect ikhicitela gas. Inkosi yathinza nesivumelano saka Eskom lesiphelako kulomnyaka lotako. Kufuneka kube netindlela lesitendako ukukhicita gas futhi kungasi gas lo njani nje, gas lohlobile. And even the mining sector, I'm happy nje ukuthi induna ne mining board bachubeka kuba nema strategic areas. Yes. Beba khona ishiseleni bayawuhlola indzaba yemalahle kunenkampani lesebenzako lapho nalendase ebonjeni. So uyabona ukuthi uhulumende uneshisekelo kuyivula the mining sector because there are opportunities there. And what will happen ukuthi sekutaba nakuvuleka lama mining sectors lenza ba youth unemployment ita addresseka nayo because it doesn't sekuvuleka amathuba emsebenzi. So the energy sector is very key.
Employment creation under the energy sector, I mean, quite a very, very key and important point there linked in a turning let mine natakiwa eMaswati. But it's not just, imisebenzi, it's good paying jobs as well. We'll need specialists in there, and we do hope Maswati will get first preference. But kakhulu lo kunye LinkedIn bosakhuluma indzaba ye value addition, particularly ngala gas. Let mine nanato I believe ukuthi lokho lekufuna ukuthi sikumine kufuna ukuthi singakuhambisi la ngiyabekisa nje sithola ligolide nje God willing sesilihambisa linjalo kufuna ukuthi sakhe konke yini lokho leni.
I think it's a conversation lecubekako even in countries like the DRC ukuthi sinemcebo waphansi lokahle but sizuza njani ku do we need to export the raw materials? Right. When you look at the composition of the cabinet that we have, there's Minister Savannah, who's got
vast experience.
Yes, vast experience in the mining sector, in the infrastructure development, and I believe we will see. Yes, I believe we will see. We can tap into her knowledge and level pay.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But it's not just the natural resources and energy sector that is going to be key in resuscitating umnotho welivele for LinkedIn. And I'm happy that you mentioned in your very brand new program, which is quite important, an important program, by the way. Exactly. You get to sit with these ministers and you get to look into their portfolios and the programs that will be in place. Engabe kutekulima njengoba vele sekushiwo ukuthi nanabo batawuba careful kule nomnotho wakangwane ngitiphi inhlelo lekufuna sibe excited about, maybe deducing from your conversation with the minister, but a big concern livela kangwane LinkedIn, maybe to start our conversation, our farm produce 80% of it relies on rain water. See, we are confronted by climate change, not just in Eswatini, in the whole world, and so very, very inconsistent weather patterns. Which can be a big hindrance on 80% of our farm produce. How is this going to be addressed, perhaps from what you spoke with the minister?
So, go 2023-2024, baphakela 1.63 billion. Imali yabo inyuka nga 274 million emalanga. Government does consider the key. Yes, even Nanyalo. I think our greatest problem as a country is about as chronic donla. nayo nado la kufanele sibuke ukuthi tiqiniswa njani tinhlelo ukuthi live likhona ukukhicita ukudla lokunye mhlambe sekungalandzela but lokho sinyalo sikhicita njani sikwehlisa njani maningi kuningi lesiimportako lesikudlako ngiyakhumbula ukuthi mina ikhona leminye imisebenzi lekhona ka agriculture I think umsebenzi nje welusip 2 ngiyakhumbula wayithinza indvuna ku budget speech last year umkhondo ngwavuma bakeni dam kuyawuqiniswa mhlawumbe indzaba tabo irrigation kulabo laba limako ngalapha nginako ngiyakholelwa ke sifiso lokuthi thinza nje indzaba ye climate change kuyawudinga lo silive liqinise mhlawumbe indzabeni ku drip irrigation vele babakhulumisa indlela letintsha sesikhicita njani kulesimo lesi kudla lokutawenda leyo ukuthi mhlambe sikhone kumelana nalesimo but nje nginako like usho sikhulumile nayo indvuna uyasho leyo ukuthi ba identify indlela letinzathu nabahlala ukuthi sive sitene sibayeni basebona baphuma na 3 things kulokunye kwako kunoyo ukuthi iservice bayimixa njani lesive number 2 sidondla njani ngoba indvuna eziyathi nasita wondliwa bantu ngaphandle ngalelinye ilanga labantu batafike bathi angeke sinondle lingakendi ABC then we'll have a problem.
Wow, yeah, that's a big one, and again, I see how that can take a knock at our GDP, because it's just fundamentally the premise of the gross domestic product is that we should export more than we import, and particularly in Zabeni tegudla lokumqa kakhulu live kufuna ukuthi kube bede poverty nehunger. Sakhulumisa yona ke indzaba yokuthi we need to find a way domestic food security. LinkedIn engabe vele, how does it really affect us economically now? Economically, we keep importing food.
Le mali yaphuma sifiso. Ngakho nje lokukhulu kufanele bese siyakhumbula ukuthi nasihamba sisengamabhonjisi siyayikhipha le mali. Kanzi le mali lestay yona. Kanzi you expect ukuthi I think kunalenye program le hulumende ikhona nanyalo ngitholile endvuneni ukuthi nama plus la ngasebenzi wenda njani uhulumende mhlawumbe niketi private sector wasebenzise balime neke ukuthi kunemhlaba lomningi kuswazi nation land lenawo awusebenzi ngiletinye inhlelo ngeva nendvuna yaka finance leyo ukuthi bakhulumisana na agriculture ukuthi kungentiwa njani ukuthi mhlambe leyo mihlaba leyo isebenziseke. Of course kuyadingeka le mali but nje most importantly okunye lokukhona leyo ukuthi na imodel lesebenta kashukela siyenda njani leyo ukuthi mhlambe ngasebenta ekukhiciteni umbila nalokunye lokutawenda ukuthi sibe food secure but indvuna nje beyisho ukuthi le model yangale kashukela indlela ekukhicita ngayo shukela nengasetshenziswa kulokukhicita lokunye kudla
particularly maize. I believe maize and sorghum very key. Utawukhumbula ukuthi even our subsidy program particularly has those products which is maize, sorghum, and what else?
Kune agriculture funds lenye linkosi nayo yafika yayithinza le ngethemba leyo ukuthi siphinde sibone kufakwa imali lapho kuthathwe emaswati lokuthi alime, and the call has been made by Minister Agriculture ukuthi let's encourage the youth ukuthi ayibuye la kule tekulima, and again bakhulumisana na education. Uyakhumbula ukuthi etikolweni at some point agriculture was a core subject but ikhambe kwase sekuyashintsha ukuthi agriculture songayikhetha nje usuyayenda noma uyenda nyaloke i-conversation seyiqalile ukuthi let's go back there ukuthi umntwana nakangena nje esikolweni akudiscusswe ukuthi agriculture utayifunza yini noma ayifane ne-maths akayo if nangabe singisi awukhetha ukuthi uyasifunza yini noma usifunza ne-agriculture ngibela lapho sengicabanga ukuthi kutasisida lo.
Quite interesting, the agriculture fund, the maize, beans and sorghum, as well as the tractor subsidy program, as well as the regional development fund. I think those are some of the programs that I went to see. Agriculture, I've seen a lot of, I saw a lot of cooperatives like Kaliwe and particularly, and LinkedIn, I want us to talk about the ICT sector. There was a lot of excitement with Minister Savannah, being made our minister based on what you've already highlighted, her wealth of experience. And I think we've gotten a chance now with Edectos Vasila Nanati Lapa Eka to share some of the nuggets last year. Now, of course, there was a mindset change, even if, from how short it was, that visit. How excited are we as the ICT sector, and what are some programs that should be strengthened?
I think we are excited. Like sisho ukuthi minister une experience learning kakhulu sifisa. Because nasikhuluma ukuthi involved mining and infrastructure development. Ma industries lawa lasebenzisa technology lesetulu kakhulu. Lo wenda ukuthi sibe nelithemba ukuthi nawubuka lokuthi uhulumende wa introduce i-government. Uyakhumbula now you mix imali ehulumende revenue bonga imikisa kuno ukuthi utafika ubambe line kakhulu and siyajabula ukuthi minister ka finance na ICT na bo commerce bahlala phansi bakubona sekulungisa njani lokho yasiqhamuka indzaba e-payment and you look at umsebenzi lo wendiwa ERS nanaye qinisa indzaba ya ICT in terms of revenue collection kuyasita nako lo. I think the major problem that we have, again, not even a problem, it's a challenge. Lenkama us minister utawu sisita nana ukuthi isebenzise kahle. Ngule ndawuthini demographic dividend. Like the ICT sector. Lo mkhathi usuke ube se the digital divide yababita kanjani. Yeah, usuke ube mutse lo mkhathi na ubuka Eskom kajeke ubuka nalamba abanye. Sikulungisa sikuthini ke lo. Ngiyakhumbula nasetikolweni laqala lihlelo lekuthi ayifakwe le ICT. Yangena but isangakangena umkhono nesiphanga. Lencamanya ukuthi mhlambe because things always have got to start somewhere. Ngiyajabula kusika isikhoma kunana lesikhwama le universal access fund I hope ngisibita kahle. Lesekona siqiniseko ukuthi in terms of network coverage lonke le live akube bethu sina ufika mhlambe enzaweni lethithe kufuna uyomejeni ukuze khona mhlambe ukuthola le data ekuxhumana. And minister phindwe wayetsinizabeka ukuthi again ke nase le infrastructure seyikhona, let's make the services affordable.
Yeah. LinkedIn usathinza indzaba ya Eskom na Ministry of ICT. I'm just reminded of probably August last year. We had an international renowned ICT consultant from Trade Economics by the name Paul Baker. Lebegete gutaw advisor Lonald Tigo Laga ICT as well as Eskom as well as other stakeholders, key stakeholders in the ICT sector. Ngenzaba e-commerce readiness assessment. Lengicabanga ukuthi will feed into our parting conversation yokutaba e-commerce industry and trade. Ngenzaba e-commerce big focus on that. Kufuna sithengiselana and I think COVID woke us up kulolu hlangothi lo lekuthenini vele sekuthengiselana kakhulu ngedebuchwepheshe, and there's actually a big market le dlala inzima lenkulu in the economies of the world. Engabe sisabuka tona tindzaba tabo cost of data, which are some of the inherent challenges lesinawo lapha kaNgwane, and the digital divide that you mentioned. How do we address some of these issues? What should we be excited about? Sisabuka commerce industry and trade nabo AFCFTA nabo labangenako la ka digital. How excited should we be?
We should be excited. So we sinenshisekelo ukuthi live libe export driven economy. Of course, we need to tap into the markets lakhona in the Southern Africa region, commerce na kuyo induna nakabuya itolo itsinzile indzaba Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and we need to tap into those. Nendzaba ma factory shares ngiyakhumbula last year financial year bekunale mali 171 million kwakhe ma factory shares. We do believe nanyalo yokuseni probably money will be pumped in there.
Yeah, this is such a big opportunity for the youth to take advantage
of. It was youth-centered budget. We do believe
this one as well. I mean, in fact, LinkedIn, everything is youth-centered, and that's not a knock on anyone. Losakhulile, demographic dividend. It's we are a young population. And at the same time, for lack of a better word, a sort of disenfranchised. Not enough job opportunities for the youth, and that has resulted to a lot of I'll use a euphemism, that has resulted to that. So all these things that we are talking about ought to be addressed. So we've
got to start somewhere anyway.
Yeah. Thank you so much, LinkedIn, for joining us on the program. Quite insightful nuggets that you've shared with us today. Lesithemba ke noma lesithandazelago ukuthi labo labadishamthetho lapha event indvuna tembuso basasuka wona emagonso njenganako sesimbuka nangu lesihlanje ngemehlo labovu sigathe wona emaphakelo lata wetfulwa ngiyo indvuna elitiko letemafa ni Reichenberg ukuthi batawusi nasebaphakeliwe bo LinkedIn sebabakhulumisa lapha bavete injabulo lenkulu but kakhulu kule njabulo yabo bameme a big responsibility ukuthi kenyalo kuyawusenjetwa live lakangwane litawukhona kusonke natinto lesesikhulumile be into fruition live lithuthuke sitawufuna ukuvalelisa mbukeli sasifika baphethelweni lihlelo lethu lalomuhla banathi ke nakusasa abone usuku lomuhla sale kahle.
Ah!